What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This your boy Yakrates. This is your review for Love Marriage Huntsville. I was actually starting to take those, and I just said, "Fuck it," since I'm back in the office and whatnot, and I got the whole thing set up. I'ma just sit here and click in and click out. So that's how we gonna do this. So we starting this thing off with I don't know why. Just okay. Come on now, yeah, you doing too much. Look, y'all, it's early. All right. Well, it's not early, but look, I'm still trying to wake up. Y'all got to give a brother a second, okay? I'm trying to do that. Drink. And it's cold in Chicago, so I need something warm. All right, so you get Destiny and Tiffany. Tiffany apologizes for not coming and says, my bad, this, that, and the third, and then asked who all came to the event. She was like, well, yeah, Destiny says there were some uninvited guests. Now, from what I was able to ascertain from this last week, that she being Destiny, had put up flyers. So for, this relaunch, and in doing that, you pretty much opened it up to the public, and the whole comparison between what she um, is doing and what Mel did. Mel's, even with her most recent event for her product line, like literally it was, you had to be invited. Like, if y'all even watched the episode, Bonnie Blue, shout outs to her. Y'all, look, again, with one win we all win. She was there and she didn't even really know that she was like gonna be featured. Like, she was just there, to take in the moment. So it wasn't just anybody walking in, you had to be invited. So with this, it's just like, yeah, I'm not trying to hear that. Then she says, she brings up Stormy being the first one to come in, and says that she brought me a purse. And Tiff is just like, oh, that's being a good friend. Now, I don't give Destiny a lot, but she was like, yeah, y'all, we people use that word a little too loosely around here, and I appreciate that, because some people do. um let's see. So she brought up Stormy and the whole purse thing, and she's just like, I'm sorry. Tiffany mentions that Stormy sent her flowers and some hair products, so the whole gesture of trying to, make things nice. Uh, and Destiny says that she will meet up with Stormy in the near dear. Hopefully things don't go left. In addition to that, she then brings up Mel and was just like, Mel didn't speak. Tiff was like, she didn't speak. She was like, well, I didn't hear her speak, but if she did, then it wasn't good enough for me. Well, man, which one is it? Now let's be clear. Let's be very clear. Did Mel speak? Yes. I don't know if I said it in my review last week, but I really do feel that was one of those, I'm saying it so if it ever comes back that I didn't say it, I can say that I said it. You feel what I'm saying? Where it's just like, hey, because look, I've done that to where I don't want to speak to somebody, but for the sake of keeping the peace, I'll offer that person in particular a real quick hi, and it's real quick, not walking up to them, looking them in their eyes, engaging them, speaking to them, da 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 da. Or if it's, look, I know we have our issues. I'm just here to support you in this moment. I'm only going to be here for a few minutes, but again, I want to say hi, congratulations, da 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 da. That's if it's just like but it's just like, hi, Destiny, da 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 da. Like, come on now, we know what that was, right? Let's not play around. But then she mentions how, she told Mel she is the moment, ma'am. You are not Kenya Moore. This is what we are not going to do. You are not. This heifer gonna say, so she is the. Anyway, she then talks about not putting Mel out because, she classy and whatnot. Okay, and the scene pretty much ends with, her saying that Mel beeline to Wanda, and that is where all the chaos ensued. One thing that I will say is, words mean things, and then also words within context. And to say that Mel beelined, Destiny knows what she's doing by saying that. again, let me be very clear when I say this. I don't like nobody on this show. I had the one person I was riding with because they like to move the goalposts. No, I don't like nobody on this show. Nevertheless, I see exactly what it is that you're trying to do because you're trying to paint this picture of male, which isn't cool. Again, we know words mean things. And she pretty much said that happened, this, that, and the third. And she keeps saying this whole uninvited, she wasn't invited. So I wasn't invited to stuff and I just didn't show up. But again, this wasn't, I hate to say it, an exclusive type of an event. It wasn't. It was open to the public. So with that being said, I hear what you're trying to say, but I don't hear what you're trying to say. Yeah, that's pretty much that on that. So now we get the Scots. So we're at Kimmy and Maurice's residence. Letitia and Marceau are coming over. Letitia gets there first. Marceau is trailing. Kimmy, I already said that. So we find out that Letitia and Marceau fell out the night before, and this is all following what happened, post Madani, all that other stuff, right? Cool. um, she says, nope. Yeah, she says that in that situation, he pretty much told her that she needs to shut up and listen to him. She says the way that she's being talked to, she is starting to get fed up. Now we're starting to get fed up. But again, I ain't never been married, so I'm gonna let that be what it is. So Marceau joins. We find out that him and Martell were able to squash things more or less because they both realized them getting into it, they had nothing to, like, they weren't even contributing to what was going on. They, in essence, were trying to protect those that were involved, and in the process of doing that, they almost came to blows. And look, we all know anybody trying to sit here and break up a fight, or in this instance, getting involved in a situation that has nothing to do with you, is typically the peacemaker, the one trying to break stuff up, they get the most licks, right? We know that. But this is also one of those things that I believe I said last week. All of this could have been avoided had people stepped in, intervened, and broke up that whole situation. Because you can see when the water is boiling, it hasn't boiled over. By the time everything happened, it had already boiled over. And look, like Funky Dineva has said on a previous video dealing with Potomac, it was nowhere to go but up. But there was still time to de-escalate the situation. It didn't happen, regardless of what the optics would have been. So Marceau feels if Wanda can't control herself, then she shouldn't be in his life. And guess what? That's fine. And that's doable to where you don't have to deal with her. You don't have to interact with her. Even to the point where if she comes over to y'all house, you can go in the backyard and play, or you can go kick it with the boys, or you can be at Black. You don't have to be in her presence if she's having something at her house, unless your wife makes it to where you have to be there. Other than that, you don't have to. You can literally make it to where you deal with her on on those bases where you need to deal with her. Other than that, I want nothing to do with you because you don't know how to control yourself and you're doing nothing but bringing chaos to us. And I was even saying when it comes to Tisha, I highly doubt she's had that conversation with her mother by saying your behavior is bringing more stuff to our marriage and it's hurt. And even if you don't care about hurting the marriage, you're hurting me. Can you please stop because you're hurting me? And if that conversation has happened and Wanda is continuing to do it, then that clearly means Wanda don't care about her daughter. I'm gonna leave that where it's at. Um, so Marceau felt because he was in protector mode that she needed to listen to him. Not necessarily. Like, and even with like, I can appreciate that he was real calm. He wasn't yelling at her. He wasn't berating her or anything like that. I also understand his logic in that moment on the scene. Now, everything that happened after that, especially when they got home, we weren't there. We don't know. I understood what he was trying to say, just because her whole thing is, well, I'm not just gonna let somebody stand there and cuss my mom out. Perfectly fine, but if that's the case, though you can't control anything in that situation but yourself, you can't go over there and talk to your mom, be like, ma. No, you didn't do that, and you let it continue to fester. Anyway, because I look, we could sit here and talk about Tisha all dang on day, but we're not gonna do that. So, but Tisha did say something that I'm like, I feel that because Tisha says Marceau knows how to talk to people when it comes to business. No matter how chaotic, no matter how wild stuff gets, when it's business, he knows how to talk to people. He needs to talk to me like that. I've often said the same thing about certain individuals that I know, where it's just like, so when you was in the workforce, you knew how to talk to people, but when you come and start talking to me, you want to get all jazzy and spicy and stuff, and then you get mad when I sit here, and because I don't reciprocate energy. You again, you come at me on 10, I'm coming at you on 1,000. It just is what it is. You shouldn't have started with me. Nevertheless, I'm just saying I understand. So Marceau says he still wants to work with Martell. Tisha doesn't, and then Marceau says, "Okay, well, I'm not going against my family nor the president of the company." But see, Tisha, here's where you messed up. What you could have done, right, is you could have been like, "Okay, well, if you want to work for Martell on this project, perfectly fine. But in you working with Martell on this project, we are giving my mother that $15,000." You gotta be a little bit more quick though, a little bit more quick. Okay, so since I've been see, here's the thing, right? When I do these type of reviews where like literally doing it live, y'all get a hell of a lot more than I would normally give, and then it makes the reviews long as hell. So let's go ahead and just finish this thing out, shall we? So we get Mel and Martell. Mel appreciates what Martell did. Martell said he's always going to be there, always going to have her back. Because I mean, when the smoke clears, they do have children together. They're always going to be family. And I'm like, this did not age well. Martell wants to, call up the guys, or in this, and when he's in this instance, he mean call up the group, and they all have dinner and discuss Wanda and how they're going to move forward. And if you want to say this is their way of icing her out, it is what it is. Because I'm sorry, she does not need to be there. They talk about possibly getting back to a good space, and Melis is like, I don't know if that's possible. And based off of what we know, it was not. So we get Tiffany and Stormy. Stormy lets us know that she wants to carry one more child, and then she wants to have a baby by surrogacy. So hopefully that goes well for her. They rehashed the event, and the biggest takeaway was that Stormy provided more context to the situation. Because here's the reality: we do know when you get a story from one person's perspective, especially if it's layers, like you kind of need to get all of the perspectives and whatnot. And I mean, sometimes there are people where they're going to tell you the story the exact way that it happened, and then there's other people where they're going to add some sauce or make it to where they're a victim, whatever the case may be. So rather than Tiffany going in and just saying definitively this is what happened, more or less just like, well, this is what I heard from your perspective what happened, because she lets her know that Mel didn't just go over there on no bull. Mel, like this happened over here. I mean, you had Wanda trying to run up and hit her from behind, all this other stuff, and you have Tiffany just like, oh, I didn't know that. And in this particular situation, what I would appreciate that Tiffany should have done after talking to Destiny, go talk to Mel, and that clears up all that. And then based off of that person, you should find the truth somewhere in the middle, unless you want to go and talk to all the other parties. We find out that Stormy's doing a commercial and wants her in it. Then we get Martell and Chris. Martell is looking for a new house. They talk about his family structure, the Madani recap, and he's no longer going to do the sweet project with Marceau. So it appears that was his decision. We just gonna go with that because we don't know if it was the other way around. We get Destiny and Stormy. Destiny, wasn't in a good place when Stormy got there, so she really wasn't in a place to truly receive what she was given. So it's just like that's kind of why it was dry and me not really doing too much. And this is one of those where I can understand it. If you know you're not in a good mood, it is what it is. But at the same time, this was business, and you should have put on your business face and like tabled all that other stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And then she mentions how she wanted her products over the bag. Now I can at least appreciate the fact that she said this to her because I was just saying, why you ain't say that previously? And ultimately, one when it comes to stuff like because y'all hear me say all the time, you don't know an explanation about anything, and when it comes to business, you really don't. But she lets her know that she got a brand new broker and a distributor, so everything that she wanted to do, like things had to switch up because now when you're dealing with other people and especially with distributors and whatnot, you working with them and their peoples and whatnot. So the way that she was doing things, it changed. So how she wanted to do stuff, she couldn't. And in the process, she wasn't thinking about trying to reach back and help Destiny out because she had other stuff that she was dealing with. That's the short and sweet of it. If y'all really want to know what she said, watch the episode, right? And Destiny doesn't want to do anything with Mel. Is what she pretty much wants is, hey, let us work on building a friendship, but all of this needs to be independent of Mel. But you have Stormy that wants all of the girls to get together, and what's going to happen is it's eventually going to get to a point to where lines in the sand will have to be drawn, and now you're going to put Stormy in a predicament to where who does she pick? Does she pick Mel or does she pick Stormy? I mean Destiny, and 9 times out of 10 she's going to pick Melody. So yeah. And then we end the episode with Marceau, Letitia, and Funky Dineva at Black. And I appreciated this, especially because I appreciated Funky Dineva, aka Q, giving Tisha just some real. Just let me just put it in a way that you can understand it. And a lot of what he was saying, I'm like, I feel you because we here. So Funky, says that he's happy that Marceau is a dude that kicks it with him because, like I said, Funky Dineva is gay, and he even mentions how you have a lot of heterosexual men that don't want to deal with, gay men for whatever reason. So he can appreciate the fact that Marceau don't treat him no off kind of way. And Marceau said, chances are, if there's men that are like that, it's probably because they question their sexuality or they're indecisive about it. So because of that, they lash out that way. I'm like, interesting perspective. Okay. So Funky Dineva then wants to talk about the tussle and Tisha messy ass mama. I was appreciative of the fact that he wasn't holding no punch. He just said what it was. I'm like, all right now. So Funky Dineva says, on the outside looking in, it appears that your mother fights your battles and that in your silence you are complicit. I'm like, all right. I'm like, and T-show thing is, well, I mean, because you're not there. And look, we all understand perception. And unfortunately, for most people, perception is reality. But it's very, very clear that Tisha doesn't do stuff because she knows that her mother will turn up and her mother is her mouthpiece. And she can hide behind the fact of, oh, well, that's my mother and that's her opinions, this, that, and the third. So Letitia says that she has had conversations with her mother and da 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 da. Now, I gotta eat crow. Okay, so she's had conversations with her mother. And Funky Dineva makes it clear. And he says, when when is the conversation going to come up of either you stop what you're doing or you can't come around us no more because what you're doing is hurting me. What you're doing is hurting this institution that we have here. So if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you can't come around. And he was like, we gotta get rid of that whole southern, how some of us were brought up type thing, where how pretty much stuff that was instilled in us, and a lot of us, we still carry that in just regular relationships, raising kids, marriages, and all this other stuff. And it's just like, just because we were raised a certain way don't mean that is right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, chew the meat, spit out the bones. Take what works and throw away that what doesn't. But don't sit here and just, in essence, your mom is full of it. You see that she's full of it. But because you were raised to, respect your parents and this, that, and the third, and they can't do no wrong, and a lot of that, biblical jargon is used as a way of oppression from a top group all the way down. So now you have us doing it to each other with the same exact stuff. That right there, just like that ain't cool. And ultimately, what he was saying to her is actions need to have consequences. Because she was just like, well, what if I tell my mom this and she keeps doing it? Then she can't come around no more. It's very, very simple. And it gets to a point where you have to always remember, in any given situation, there's only one variable that you can control. That is yourself. Meaning, you set the boundaries and you can control what you can't control. Like, I'll give y'all just a little piece of me. Like I said, me and my mother love her dearly, but she talks too damn much. And I've even said to her, like, I live a private life. I've always been that way since I was a teen. I like, if I want something out there, let me tell it, even if it's something small, because if it gets back to me, then that means that if little shit's getting back to me, what big shit are you out there talking about that's gonna come back? And again, like, I don't fucks with most people that I'm related to, so anything could be used as a dagger. Like, don't give nobody no ammunition. Better yet, just keep my name at your mouth when you talk to people. Agree that she would do it. She ain't living up to him. And she got mad at me recently because she was asking me questions and I wasn't giving her the answers that she wanted. And she popped off, and I told her, just like, no, the reason that I don't tell you nothing is I've asked you to stop talking about my business and you do not do it. So with that being said, rather than me keep having this same conversation with you, I'm gonna just stop telling you my business. And me not telling you my business, it ain't going past, it ain't going nowhere. So if I want somebody to know it, I'll know it. She got pissed, but it is what it is. So you put it out there, you set the boundaries. If they want to keep on stepping over the boundaries, cool. I'm gonna just deal with you in a different type of way, and it is what it is. But that's all I got. Eh, I really could have shortened this review in 10 minutes, but I want to give you all of that action. But this is it. So, yeah, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. The next video will be Potomac, and then the Whether You Like It or Not panel will be at Simply Sakina's house on Monday. So, until then, I will see you all for those videos. Peace.